This is News Today with WDW News Today. I'm Tom Corliss of WDWNT.com. Please like this video, subscribe, and hit the notifications bell to make sure you never miss the latest from the Disney theme parks all around the world. Here now the news for January 19, 2026. In anticipation of the repainting of Cinderella Castle starting later this month, Disney is no longer running the Let the Magic Begin welcome show with fireworks. Every morning, Mickey and Minnie Mouse officially welcome guests to the Magic Kingdom with Let the Magic Begin, which takes place in front of Cinderella Castle on the stage and features several characters emerging from the castle. Normally, Let the Magic Begin is performed every day at 8:55 a.m., which is reflected on the Walt Disney World calendar. However, starting January 28th, there are no performances listed for the duration of the calendar, which currently ends on March 18th. We anticipate that this is the start of the Cinderella Castle repainting project, and that is why they are not doing the welcome show. There are rumors that they're going to have a later start for Royal Friendship Fair and some of the other castle festivities because they'll wrap up painting sometime in the early morning, so that way guests' photos are not obstructed with cranes and things of the sort. But for now, they've already killed the fireworks in the welcome show, so the welcome show is no pyro, and again, will be going away, I hope temporarily. Or Disney, wild idea, if you just want to bring back the train welcome show, that's everyone's favorite thing ever, we'd be cool with that too. You could just do that in the meantime. Yeah, if you really want to bump attendance during what is typically a slow time of year, bring back the old welcome show and we'll all come. Crews have removed signs and the entrance archway from the Buzz Lightyear Space Ranger spin attraction at the Magic Kingdom. Disney recently filed a permit for the new signage. Construction walls went up last week around the exterior of the attraction. They were later decorated with quotes and Operation Suspended signs. The signs that hung under the People Mover track are gone, including the standby and lightning lane signs. The Star Command headquarters sign and its support pole are also gone. From the People Mover, we confirmed more theming elements were gone. The entrance was formerly framed by a green archway with faux electric pylons, and there were red and white striped decals to the sides of the door with flat buttons. The wall is still dark purple with a gray outline where the archway used to be. There's a gray rectangle above the doors where there was previously a marquee featuring Buzz and Zurg. My favorite part of the old sign is so little was changed from Delta Dreamflight into Space Ranger Spin that the shape of the sign was a cloud because the logo for Delta Dreamflight was a cloud. And so it kept the cloud shape. So I think finally, it breaks my heart, but finally the Delta Dreamflight cloud-shaped sign, try to say that 5 times fast. The Delta Dreamflight cloud-shaped sign is possibly a thing of the past. Oh, watch, there'll be a brand new sign, but it'll still be the shape of a cloud. That would make me actually pretty happy, but nonetheless. Dark spots on the purple walls are the silhouettes of the pylons and electricity. The sliding glass doors remain decorated with Operation Suspended decals for now. Buzz Lightyear Space Ranger Spin will reopen this spring with new vehicles, blasters, targets, characters, projections, so much more, new physical figures, all sorts of stuff. The attraction has been closed since August 4th of 2025. But man, I'm excited to see this finished product. I think if there was an attraction at the Magic Kingdom that needed a glow up, that felt really, truly run down and just abandoned, it was Buzz Lightyear. So this is, warms my, not my favorite attraction, but it warms my heart to see them spend the money to bring it up to snuff. As we correctly predicted in our last construction update for Pete's Silly Sideshow, a themed Scrim has arrived at the tent. The meet and greet venue is closed for refurbishment for the foreseeable future, so a themed Scrim will help improve sight lines. Yes, those are important, kids, in the park, so it doesn't look so unsightly. And while the bottom half of the tents are standard Disney construction walls, the top are a light and dark red with yellow stripes and Scrim, slightly reminiscent of the circus tent behind it. The Scrim runs across the entire guest-facing area of the construction, and the entrance is now completely covered. Construction walls went up around Pete's Silly Sideshow a few weeks ago. The largest section of scaffolding was visible between Pete's and Big Top Souvenirs. It was previously covered in a green Scrim. The new Scrim both blocks work from guest view and helps better protect crew members from the weather, and also for fanboys like you and me. It just looks better and it's more thematic. Of course, the tent had fallen into disrepair over the last several months last year with normal fading, but also some tears in the roof. But during the refurb, Minnie, Goofy, Donald, and Daisy are meeting outside in Storybook Circus. And as always, guests can meet Mickey Mouse in Town Square Theater at the front of the park, and Pluto roams Storybook Circus. Those haven't changed. Recent aerial photos from BioReconstruct on X show the first concrete forms for the upcoming Piston Peak National Park, the Cars area of Frontierland at the Magic Kingdom. The aerial photographer also shared some views of what will eventually be Villains Land and what is currently Big Thunder Mountain that's still closed. Frontierland at Walt Disney World's Magic Kingdom is undergoing one of the resort's largest construction projects in history. I don't want to use the word expansion because Frontierland's not expanding, the park is overall. In the plans are Piston Peak National Park and the Villains Land beyond Big Thunder. Villains Land will take up some of what was formerly Tom Sawyer Island and the Rivers of America. That front section of Tom Sawyer Island and the river, though, will become that Cars area, as you all know. Taking a closer look at these photos, we see the first concrete forms related to Piston Peak National Park have been placed. You see them in the center of the photo here. Comparing the aerial photography to the fun map Disney released a few months ago, this area is on the side closest to Tiana's Bayou Adventure and the nearby Big Thunder Mountain Railroad. Here is another look at the concrete form, other work, and the staging in what used to be the Rivers of America and Tom Sawyer Island. Part of Big Thunder Mountain can be seen on the left, and in this photo centered on what will be Piston Peak National Park, Big Thunder Mountain is in the lower left, and the new concrete forms are in the lower center. Land is also being cleared near the Haunted Mansion. We'll talk about that more in a little bit. This photo shows a closer view of the area being cleared behind the Haunted Mansion. The covered queue is in the center of the photo. The Haunted Mansion facade is just above the queue, and part of the ride building, the show building, can be seen at the very top. An excavator is also seen removing dirt from the slope just below the attraction's tented queue. The Rivers of America and Tom Sawyer Island closed permanently last summer to be demolished and transformed into both Piston Peak National Park as part of Frontierland and eventually portions of that, the Villains Land. The photo here shows most of the footprint that Rivers of America and Tom Sawyer Island occupied as it extended past Big Thunder Mountain Railroad. The center of the photo is the location of Piston Peak. It will not extend really past the Haunted Mansion. Beyond that perimeter, if you will, beyond Big Thunder and beyond the mansion will be where the Villains Land is situated. The left side of the photo with the darker dirt is where the Villains Land, we believe, will be situated. We also have a few images of the early prep work for that. The boomerang-shaped area of dark dirt, center left of the photo you're looking at now, marks where the future land will be. There's also a large construction, staging, and support area to the right of the land. The clearing for Villains Land stretches all the way back to behind It's a Small World. Not much information has been released about the Villains Land other than we know some of the inspiration, things of that sort, but we don't know much. 2 major attractions, shopping and dining, and that's what we know so far. I would suspect at this year's D23, the Ultimate Disney Fan Event, we will find out more about what will make up the Villains Land. I think we'll also find out exactly what that second attraction in Piston Peak National Park actually is, and if it is just a family flat ride, another spinner. The newest permit related to the Piston Peak area under construction is for the former Mike Fink keelboat dock near the Haunted Mansion. The keelboat landing is next to the entrance of the mansion, pictured here. And though the Mike Fink keelboats have been closed since 2001, the dock remained and the building was used as an extended queue for the Haunted Mansion. Construction walls went up around part of the building early during the Rivers of America demolition. The new permit from Walt Disney Imagineering calls for general construction at the address of the landing. The contractor is MLC Theming, who specializes in scenic painting, aging of structures, fabricating facades, and carving rockwork. The permit has been filed by WDI and, again, contracts MLC, indicating the landing won't be demolished but rethemed. However, if you look at the fun map of Piston Peak National Park, the riverboat landing is there, but the Mike Fink keelboat landing is not there. So we don't really know. It's interesting that there's a permit. Usually if a new structure is going to go up, you demolish that. The other possibility is things changed after the fun map was created, and maybe now at least the upper level of the building is staying. If you're not familiar with the Mike Fink keelboat dock, it is multi-level. So there's a lower portion, which is where the actual dock was, which is where the boats were. And there's an upper part that was essentially the entrance and the queue. The mansion has used all of that at one point or another since 2001. But again, we're going to have to wait and see exactly what the plans are for this structure. It would be cool if they find a way to keep it. Maybe this is the answer to, I know there was some speculation as to how WDI was going to figure out an extended queue for Mansion with all of that gone, like where they would have to put that. We thought maybe they were going to blow out the back portion of the cemetery and have to put some back there. But maybe they found a way to keep this building and it'll act as that extended queue, and to go to the cars area, you'll just hook a left past that structure maybe. Either way, I think the bottom floor has to be gone. I don't know how they would keep the bottom when it looks like very much in many of the plans they're filling that in. That's not where the river's going to go anymore. But again, we'll wait and see. A second permit has been filed for the Haunted Mansion attraction in Magic Kingdom. However, Disney has still made no announcement about what is going to happen there. Disney World filed the permit on January 13th for general construction, and once again, MLC Theming is the contractor on the permit, whereas the first permit filed was with Mecca Productions to install set elements. Mecca is a design, fabrication, and installation firm that frequently collaborates with WDI. MLC Theming is, we've just talked about, a specialty construction company in the greater Orlando area. So the new set now gives us permits for thematic elements as well as general construction. Disney, again, has not announced any changes to the Haunted Mansion. We don't know what this might mean. So what are these permits for? It could be related to what's going on the outside. Certainly there's a company that specializes in rock work. There's a scenic company. Maybe they want to work on whatever the left side of the Haunted Mansion queue is going to look like once Piston Peak National Park is formed. So it could just be outside. Now, if it's inside, there is a whole lot of speculation. We can talk about, obviously, Disneyland several months ago reopened their Haunted Mansion with new scenes, including the bride, a whole new bride scene that's reminiscent of the old one, but projection heavy. And then the long rumored thing is the changes to the stretching room, that they'd get rid of the hanging corpse in the stretching room, which would make me very sad. Because it's been in the Haunted Mansion since 1969 at Disneyland and since 1971 at Disney World. And if we start going through the Haunted Mansion because we're offended by the way ghosts became ghosts in that attraction, right? I would imagine in the, when was 1969? How many years? 50-something years ago? In the 50-something years the Haunted Mansion has existed, do we think no human beings have gone through there that didn't have a loved one or a friend pass away in any of the various forms that exist in that ride? Because they're not all murder and the like. There's some that are like, there's the duelist, so two people shot each other. There's did the ghost in the dining room I'm missing the word here, the ballroom, thank you. Did the ghost in the ballroom under the table drink himself to death? I mean, it could be a death from alcoholism, totally possible. How about what's going on in the graveyard? There's lots of silly scenes. Inevitably, when you're making an attraction that is a jokey version of a haunted house, there's going to be some nods to ways people have died, and some of those ways are ways that real people probably died at some point. So is it worth going through the entirety of the Haunted Mansion and trying to figure out how to not offend anyone that's related to anyone that's ever died through any of these manners? I don't think it is. I think it's ridiculous. There are changes that have been made for political correctness in the history of Disney parks that I don't necessarily agree with their replacement, but I understand the need to change. The auction scene in Pirates of the Caribbean, I'm heartbroken that scene is gone, except in Tokyo, where it continues on. Thank you, Allsy. It's still there. But in the other, I understand it's like, well, they're auctioning women. Like, we want to change it. At the same time, I'm like, well, it's true to real life. So, I mean, you made an attraction about pirates in the Caribbean. Here's what happened. At the same point, like, it's been there since the 60s. People should understand that it's an old piece of art. And was it the most terribly offensive scene ever perpetrated on the theme park going public? No, but at the same time, I get it. And Splash Mountain's another one where I totally get it, totally understand why, and it kind of had to happen. And maybe the solutions were not the best solutions in some cases. But in the case of Mansion, touching that stretching room is such a cataclysmic mistake. Just leave it be. Leave it alone. But I think it's coming. I mean, that OC Register piece said they wanted to get to it in that last Disneyland refurbishment, and they didn't. And so the writing is on the wall. that it's coming at some point. Is this the moment? This may not. This permit could be anything. But the fact that there's a scenic company and a rock, like, it alludes to the fact that it is something themed. And when you think about theming, you think about, it could be props and such in the queue, but it also could be something inside the mansion. And we will have to, say it with me, this is my new catchphrase as of late, we'll have to wait and see what it is. As well, scaffolding is up in the graveyard of the Haunted Mansion of the Magic Kingdom, joining the walls and scrim related to that Piston Peak construction. The first signs of work at the mansion queue were installed in July of 2025. There were construction markers, and these were later replaced by construction walls. The scaffolding is in the graveyard at the very end of the outdoor queue. You might call it the interactive queue portion that was added in the 2010s, next to Madame Leota's tombstone. It's covered by green scrim to block the work from view. Uncovered scaffolding is also visible beyond the construction walls at the back of the graveyard. The scaffolding is around a fence that marked the end of the graveyard. The Mr. Sewell and Brother Claude tombstones remain alongside Leota's, though, at the edge of all this. Here's a photo of what the area looked like a few months ago when the construction walls went up. But the beige scrim installed in September is still in place along the rest of the queue. The Haunted Mansion continues to operate as normal, but lots and lots of work going on here. Not sure how long it's going to be until the mansion kind of returns to normal outside. Will we have to wait until Piston Peak National Park is open, or did these permits we've seen indicate that maybe they'll have it done sooner? We'll have to wait and see. This program is brought to you by our official travel agent sponsor, Be Our Guest Vacations. Your dream vacation begins with Be Our Guest and their concierge team of expert vacation planners. Head on over to wwnt.travel and their team will design your next magical vacation, from the Walt Disney World and Disneyland Resorts to Disney Cruise Line to Adventures by Disney and more. And the best part is their concierge services are 100% free. So book today. And of course, Be Our Guest is who is booking our fantastic first ever cruise event called History on the High Seas, a WDWNT cruise. This is taking place in late September. It's a 5-night cruise, and we are visiting both Castaway Cay and Lookout Cay at Lighthouse Point, both of Disney's private islands aboard. We'll be traveling aboard the Disney Fantasy, my favorite cruise ship. It's going to be a great opportunity to hang out with your favorite WDWNT personalities, as well as the Imagineers and creatives and executives who created Disney Cruise Line, including Jane Alcorn, who was instrumental in bringing Castaway Cay to life. She's going to give us a private guided tour of the island. All part of this event. There'll be an afternoon of panels and presentations and so much more fun. You can register now and find out more information at events.wdwnt.com. While you're over there, be sure to register for our Sweet Emotional Farewell Tour, a tribute to Rock and Roller Coaster, which is taking place on February 28th. That's going to be happening at the Embassy Suites just down the road. Registration open now to join us in person. There's the autograph signing portion. There's panels and presentations. We also have a special add-on for our WIGS members, a big group package that includes an evening with Imagineer Jerry Rees. We'll talk about his incredible career from Cinemagique to Alien Encounter to the Dinosaur pre-show and so much more. And Star Wars Galactic Star Cruiser, a great career retrospective we're going to have with him here at WDWNT Celebration. Again, registration for that open as well right now at events.wdwnt.com. While we're talking about what we're doing here at WDWNT, I want to mention, I mentioned the Dinosaur pre-show. Well, time is almost up for Dinosaur. The countdown to extinction is on, just a couple weeks away from the farewell, and we still have a couple of these left. This is our this is the counting down to extinction limited edition pin set. Only 250 of these made. We have a handful left, but you got the Carnotaur as a meteor that actually spins. You got one additional passenger, extra large, and of course, the Alioramus eating this guy, and he actually wiggles. It's a pretty great pin set. Only a few of these left, and when they're gone, they're gone. And also, while we're talking about dinosaurs, you can give me the wide shot, because we've still got a handful of these left. This is the I Counted Down to Extinction t-shirt. This might be the last call on these, I think. They are discounted right now. We took $5 off. They're only $25 now. So get them while we have them. Fantastic art of Seeker and the crew in the CTX Time Rover running from the Carnotaur. And my favorite thing is we have an homage to the mural. It's not really a mural. The sign that's on the wall in the load area, which has the original name, the CTX Countdown to Extinction, WDI, when the attraction opened. But we added when the attraction closes to the code. So say goodbye to Dinosaur with this merchandise. This smells so nice. I don't know, Lori washed these. I don't know if we want, it just smells floral. Maybe yours will smell floral too. Order today. That's very pleasant. While we're talking about merchandise, I'm going to keep plugging things. Our pin of the month has launched, but in order to get the first 7 pins from the pin of the month collection, you have to partake in our mystery pin collection. You get 2 in this box for $22.99. It is the 7 magnet designs released in 2025 in pin form. Again, 2 in a box for $22.99. You do get your WIGS member discount on all these products I just mentioned. What you don't get the discount on, though, is, and dig this out, the magnet of the month and the pin of the month. So, of course, we've been doing the magnet of the month for several months now. Every month we celebrate original theme park characters. This month celebrating some characters from the Rock and Roller Coaster pre-show that are not Aerosmith. They're original characters. And so this is the magnet of the month. You can get through the end of the month, the last day of the month, to order. So subscribe and get this. The pin of the month program has also launched now, and you have through the end of the month to order that. It is a pin version of this magnet art, and it's the first in the collection. So go subscribe to both the Carousel of Products.com. You do save more if you sign up for the annual subscription over the monthly, mind you. All that out of the way. The business out of the way, the party's just ahead. Let's get back to the news. Our team was at EPCOT, of course, on Friday for the first day of the EPCOT International Festival of the Arts, and we tried all the new food and drink and snacks and desserts. We looked at the merchandise, did all the activities, and so much more. If you visit our website, we have full merchandise guides. We have the food reviews, a view at the Disney Lorcana Collection Quest, the Once Upon a Stage, The Magic of Disney on Broadway, and so much more on our website at WDWNT.com. But I've got to plug WDWNT POV, our new channel where all of our in-park experiences are going. That is where you will find the review of every single new item that we did on Friday. I know those have been a staple of this channel for many years. We've moved them to the new channel. I know several thousand of you have found it already, but please go over to WDWNT POV to watch that. Also, Nick and Ashton went on the Lorcana Quest and Scavenger Hunt on Friday as well. We're going to be releasing that on that channel too. So for all the great stuff you want from the Festival of the Arts, go check it out at WDWNT POV. That's also where you'll find the tour of the Broadway exhibit that's in Communicore Hall. With some attractions opening as early as summer 2026, work is progressing quickly on the former animation courtyard of Disney's Hollywood Studios. The land is set to become a refreshed version of said courtyard, and you can take a look at some of the construction courtesy of our friend BioReconstruct on X. Concrete forms are being assembled near the center. Concrete has also been poured for walkways at the Disney Junior building. A temporary tent has been set up near the bottom right. In front of the Disney Junior building, fresh concrete has been poured on either side. The building will be home to Disney Junior Mickey Mouse Clubhouse Live, show that debuted in California last year. It will debut this coming summer in Florida. Other forms and dirt work fill the center courtyard, which will become a home to a garden area with trees for shade and seating areas. In the image you're looking at now, the Disney Junior building is at the bottom. The Little Mermaid and Musical Adventure Theater can be seen at the top, and what was Star Wars Launch Bay is on the right. The full experience will return in 2026 as a place where kids and kids at heart can laugh, draw, dream, and explore animated new experiences. The attraction will have a Mickey Sorcerer Hat facade on the front of it, like the Roy E. Disney Animation Building in Burbank, as well as a reimagined interior taking inspiration from the Disney Animation headquarters. There'll be new meet and greet experiences, a playground, and so much more. Except for the Little Mermaid and Musical Adventure, the entirety of Animation Courtyard closed in September, and the famous archway was knocked down. Continuing with photography from our friend BioReconstruct, we now are going to take a look at the Monstropolis area, the Monsters, Inc. land that is replacing the section of Grand Avenue, the Muppets Courtyard, towards the back of Hollywood Studios. We have a new top-down look at some of the progress on the area. The lower angle aerial shot you're seeing here shows a view of the park from the west, or the back side of the park relative to the guest entrance. You can see Galaxy's Edge at the bottom center of the image, and just above that and slightly to the right, the large tan area of land is the site of the upcoming Monsters, Inc. suspended coaster. Here you can see the construction of the gravity building for said roller coaster. More concrete floor appears to have been added with from our last update, along with concrete forms and a substantial amount of fill dirt. The dirt is covering the concrete, bottom right in this image that we saw in the previous aerial photos. Electrical conduits are also being buried. And in the top left of the photo here, the outline of the guest-facing side of the building, made up of right angles, is starting to take shape. Here's a side-by-side close-up of the concept art for comparison to see how the front of the building matches up. In this photo, you can see on the left where Gonzo's Royal Flush, the sign was removed, and in the center, what remains after the Pizza Rizzo sign was taken down. And here's a look from the front of the park. The entrance is at the bottom left, and the Monstropolis construction is in the upper left. Following the permanent closure of MuppetVision 3D at Hollywood Studios on June 7th, Disney is transforming the theater into a new Monsters, Inc. attraction, as we all know. But according to the Central Florida Tourism Oversight District records obtained by the Orlando Business Journal, Disney is investing $22.4 million in the transformation of that building. Work includes interior demolition and the installation of structural and architectural elements. Crews have already removed most thematic elements from the facade of MuppetVision. Disney hasn't announced any details of what that new attraction will be, but we know it will take place in a theater. Concept art indicated the theater will be named The Glob, a play on the Globe Theater, and should receive a new marquee and more. I'll wait to find out what all that's going to be. BioReconstruct, of course, topped all this off with an aerial update on the Tropical Americas land being built in the former Dino Land at Disney's Animal Kingdom. In recent weeks, framing of the Encanto ride building, or the casita, has grown progressively bigger, with interior framework beginning last week. Now we have an updated aerial overview of the construction in that area. The Encanto ride building has risen rapidly since officially going vertical back in December, with more steel being added almost every night and a crane towering over the structure. You know, we had our doubts if they're going to be able to make 2027, but this seems to be moving real quick. Guests often can see the crane in action during daytime hours, moving pieces of steel. However, work is also progressing on the former boneyard. A carousel will go where one section of the boneyard used to be, part of the fictional Pueblo Esperanza village. Lots of dirt moving and early stage concrete work has been going on for a few weeks. The concrete forms outline future walls or foundational elements. They are located near a pre-existing concrete structure that was part of the boneyard. Steel is staged nearby, some pieces already standing vertically. At left of this aerial photo is where the former Dinoland USA entrance was. That'll become the Tropical Americas entrance. The carousel will be located just off to the side of this area. There's a small guest walkway still open between the two main construction areas. However, this walkway, which currently leads to Dinosaur and Restaurantosaurus, will close, of course, in just a few weeks' time in early February. From this angle, we can see that some roofing materials are being added to what is the Encanto show building. Though it's just a frame right now, the Encanto ride will eventually have the casita as a facade. The ride will be set during the film, although it will go beyond the original story. Meanwhile, cast members including Jeff Valley, the president of Walt Disney World Resort, recently signed a steel beam that will be located inside of the attraction. Walt Disney Imagineering has filed another permit for construction at Conservation Station at Animal Kingdom, where there will soon be the new Bluey experience. While the previous permit covered electrical work, the new permit is for general construction. It contracts B. Morrow Productions, whose design work includes theme park experiences and zoo exhibits. The Bluey experience will open this summer. Guests will get to play and dance with Bluey and Bingo. There will also be a Bluey and Bingo meet and greet. Animals native to Bluey's home country of Australia will be outside, according to a casting call, potentially replacing the current Affection Section petting zoo. Conservation Station is located in Rafiki's Planet Watch, accessible by the Wildlife Access Train until 4:30 p.m. As of right now. There, guests can check out the Veterinary Treatment Room, Nutrition Center, Science Center, and window views of amphibians, reptiles, and invertebrates. It's currently home to the animation experience as well. So it sounds like this is a complete redo of that area. Affection Section, those animals are going to go away, so animals indigenous to Australia can be added, which is not, I don't think, necessarily a bad thing. This is kind of like a light version of the Australia land people asked for so many years. I know that was before Tropical Americas happened and before we saw the blue sky that would have had Moana and Zootopia. For many years, guests kept saying, oh, you have the Nemo show over there. Why not build an Australia area with all the super cool animals that inhabit that country? So that was talked about for forever. And now it's kind of happening, and everyone's upset because we all love those goats and the cow and the pig and everybody that lives over at Affection Section. I know I got to go say goodbye. I love so many of the critters over there. So it's sad, but at the same time, it's a really cool idea to revitalize Planet Watch, to have all new entertainment and also have all new animal exhibits there and bring that space back to life, give people a really good reason to go back there. So I'm sad about the animals that are going to leave, but I'm also excited about what's to come. January 16th marked the 5th anniversary of the opening of Gideon's Bakehouse at Disney Springs, and Gideon's used the opportunity to make a major announcement. Gideon's Bakehouse announced a new savory food concept called Six Ravens that will be opening later this year. Six Ravens is taking over the former Art of Shaving storefront not far from Gideon's at Disney Springs. After a permit was filed for the location by Disney on behalf of Gideon's owner Steve Lewis, Gideon's style artwork appeared in the windows, so we knew something was coming. The shop will offer coffins, an original term for hand pies made of fluffy yeast bread, as well as potatoes, local draft beer, and desserts. Now, I just want to point something out. They're going to serve a food item called a coffin, which is a thing we go in when we die. Someone could be offended by this if they know someone who died, which all of us do. So if the Haunted Mansion can, if Gideon's can sell coffins, then the Haunted Mansion can keep the stretching room as is. That's my fight. That's how this is going. So here's the story from Gideon's on this new concept. Quote, "A few years ago, we started exploring ideas for something new that met a grab-and-go need in a small space. I will admit that another small shop caused some hesitation, but an idea came to mind that was hard to ignore. What if we created a place that offered up savory delights in collaboration with some of our favorite Central Florida chefs? After all, I got my start at Disney Springs as a secret menu item at the Polite Pig." I forgot about that. "It's important to pay it forward and bring more local flavors to the international crowds we meet every day. So with that, I introduce you to Six Ravens. This new concept specializes in creating what we call coffins, the original term for an old-school hand pie. This fluffy yeast bread is filled with flavors created not only by the talented minds in Gideon's kitchen, but also by some of your favorite Orlando culinary superstars. Combine that with potatoes, local draft beer, and of course, some tasty desserts, and you will have a fun new place to fuel your park adventures." This sounds good. I love Gideon's. Who doesn't? I'm excited to try Savory from Gideon's. We'll see how this turns out. Oh, we're not done with aerial photography from our friend BioReconstruct. We have an update on the Lakeshore Lodge construction over by Fort Wilderness. From these aerial angles, we can see just how large the next Disney resort will be. All three wings and the courtyard area are taking shape as construction continues. Porte-cochere entrance is rapidly progressing. We can also see the continued construction of the A-frame cabins that line the shore on either side of the resort. The A-frame cabins are becoming more complete with roofing tar added to many. Others have plywood sheathing added over the metal beams. Crews seem to be focused on those closest to the resort's main building at this time. Many of the other cabins, including those near Clementine Beach, are just framed with a combination of wood and steel. A crane still sits on a floatmaster in the water with the dock under construction in the lake. Currently, the dock is mainly just supports in the water. Some structure is starting to appear nearest the land, though. Near the lakeshore, the building believed to be the lakefront bar or restaurant now has roofing and additional steel structures around the perimeter. These might be for covered outdoor seating. When the resort was first announced, it was marketed as a Princess and the Frog-inspired location set to be a full-on, standalone table service restaurant on Bay Lake. However, that has not been said since this project was announced again. They've been silent on this, but it looks like that structure's still there. So either way, there's a food and bev option of some kind coming to Lakeshore Lodge on the water. Concrete and utility work also continues on the Lazy River and the main resort pool. The Lazy River is a nearly complete oval of concrete next to the concrete pool foundation, which includes steps at one end and a ramp at the other. The Lazy River is directly behind the resort's entrance, and a nice nod to River Country, which used to reside in this space. In other courtyard areas of the resort, smaller quiet pools are under construction. Many of the roofline overhangs now also have blue sheathing as they are prepared for their final touches. 2027 is when this is expected to open. Views of the Seven Seas Lagoon from Ohana are currently obstructed by refurbishment work taking place at the Polynesian. The disclaimer was posted on the Ohana restaurant website. It says, beginning January 15th, portions of the Polynesian Village Resort will undergo exterior maintenance. During this time, views of the Seven Seas Lagoon from Ohana may be partially or completely obstructed. We apologize for any inconvenience. Ohana, of course, is a restaurant known for its waterfront views, but more likely known for its noodles. But either way, just keep in mind that you may not have the clearest views you want of the fireworks. We don't know how bad this is going to get at any point. I'm so intrigued that this is another major refurbishment of the Polynesian. I just feel like in the time WDWNT has existed, we've been through this so many times. When they first added DVC in the early 2010s, when they added DVC, or when they did the Moana rooms a couple of years ago leading into the Island Tower, and now again with all this roadway work, and it's not only out on the roadway and in the parking lot, it's going around the building now. So another large-scale, widespread refurbishment and reimagining at the Polynesian. I just worry every time we lose a little bit more of what the Poly has been since the 70s, and it makes me sad. I hope it continues to keep some of that old charm, but there's some things they've done the last few years that I'm not a big fan of. In fact, we actually Rosanna had never been to Ohana. So to celebrate her completion of the Dopey Challenge, we went to Ohana. And as we walked into the hotel, the entry is just, I hate the way the entry is. They replaced what was wood fencing, looked very natural to the environment, that little bridge that goes over from the porte cochere into the hotel. They put metal railings that look real out of place, but then also against the building, they got rid of all the foliage so you could see the building. And I'll be honest with you, I love the Polynesian. The exterior of that building was not really meant for guests to see. It is kind of just a 1970s very plain structure that they then decorated the roof of. And so you just see like what looks like an office building fully uncovered there with all that brush gone. I hope they fix that. It looks real rough out there right now. I hope that's part of the work that's ongoing. Over its 7 decades of operation, Disneyland has reached its major milestone, now welcoming its 900 millionth visitor since 1955. Tracking attendance numbers used to be a Disneyland tradition, with the park proudly issuing annual tallies. Disneyland no longer publicly announces attendance figures, though. Disneyland once regularly boasted these, reaching 100 million in 1971, 200 million in 81, 300 million in 89, 400 in 1997, and 500 million in 2004. Disney California Adventure has welcomed 171.6 million guests roughly from when the park opened in 2001 through 2024, according to Amusement Business and TIA estimates. The all-time combined attendance of Disneyland and California Adventure is likely over 1 billion visitors as of February 2025, based on estimates from publicly available attendance figures. But Disneyland alone will hit the 1 billion visitor mark sometime in 2031, it's believed, if the park maintains its current attendance rate. Downtown Disney District unveiled a new logo, although it's only slightly different from the logo they unveiled in 2024. Here's the old logo, and here's the new one. Downtown Disney shared the news in an Instagram story. Cheers to 25 years of Downtown Disney. It's in celebration of this incredible milestone. We're excited to unveil our brand new logo honoring the past, present, and future of the Downtown Disney District. The previous logo was introduced with the launch of the Downtown Disney Instagram page in May of 2024, although never saw much use. The updated version removes the teal hexagon from behind the lettering and the yellow pixie dust. Downtown is no longer in cursive, but the same sans serif lettering as ISNY, as before. The D is the same Gothic style as the Disneyland Resort logo. The blocks behind the letters are inspired by the retro Disneyland sign, which is now sort of back in full force. We've seen the art for Disneyland Forward. The bridge over Harbor Boulevard is going to have that Disneyland sign back as a permanent fixture. And this new logo, all part of the Downtown Disney reimagining that's been going on for several years now, which brought about Paseo, Din Tai Fung, and still so much more to come in the next couple months. The Lunar New Year 2026 festivities take place at Disney California Adventure Park from January 23rd to February 22nd of 2026. The Year of the Horse will be celebrated with tributes to Chinese, Korean, and Vietnamese cultures. The event is included in park admission, but some offerings are an additional cost, of course. Part of the event this year are new and returning bites. The 2026 Lunar New Year Sip and Savor Pass will be back at $49. Hurry Home, a Lunar New Year celebration pre-show for World of Color, is back. Mulan's Lunar New Year procession, appearances from Disney characters, and other offerings. But Disney also announced that Panda May from Turning Red will be available to meet with guests for the holiday from January 23rd to February 22nd, all part of the festival. This is the first time guests can meet May in her full red panda form. Panda May will be located at the Pixar Pier band shell, and other characters will be available throughout the park in celebratory garments for the occasion. Donald and Daisy will be in traditional Chinese attire, while Goofy and Clarabelle Cow will be wearing clothes inspired by Vietnamese designs. Guests will also be able to see Mulan's Lunar New Year procession, which highlights Horace Horsecollar this year. He'll be in it as we celebrate the Year of the Horse. Also, Chip and Dale will be participating in the procession in new Chinese-inspired garments. Framework for the canopy that will connect the two new Avengers campus rides at California Adventure appears to be nearly complete. Since our last update, the far right overhang has been completely covered by white framing. Closer to the construction walls are some shipping containers. Beyond them is a crane in the upright position. Disney began installing the canopy back in November. It'll connect Avengers Infinity Defense and Stark Flight Lab, which replaces the original Marvel e-ticket ride concept that was announced several years ago. That attraction was canceled because Disney didn't trust Imagineering. We talked about that on the show last week. Meanwhile, a new restroom building is under construction between Avengers Campus and Cars Land. The brick walls have been topped off in the past 2 weeks. Currently, the only restroom in Avengers Campus is located between Pym Test Kitchen and Web Slingers, and that was reutilized. That was part of a Bugs Land. That used to be the giant tissue box. But those restrooms did get to stay, albeit they were rethemed. We also recently reported on the addition of construction walls around the former Tower of Terror FastPass distribution station outside of Guardians of the Galaxy Mission Breakout. Crews have added themed stripes to the construction walls, but there have been otherwise no changes, and it's unclear what they're doing at that space. The newest Disney Cruise Line ship, the Disney Adventure, arrived at Port Canaveral Wednesday night. The ship's home port will be in Singapore, but it's making a pit stop at the original home of Disney Cruise Line before continuing its journey. Construction of the Disney Adventure was completed at the Meyer-Werft shipyard in Germany. The ship had its first float out in the spring of 2025, followed by sea trials. The ship was originally scheduled for a December 2025 maiden voyage, but was delayed to March 10th of 2026. Disney took ownership of the vessel in December, and it began its journey from Bremerhaven, Germany. It stopped at Madeira and will make 2 more stops in Los Angeles and Tokyo before arriving in Singapore. As the ship passed through the Bahamas, the Disney Destiny and the Disney Fantasy briefly escorted her, creating the rare sight of 3 Disney Cruise Line ships sailing together all at once. But now you're looking at photography of the ship in Port Canaveral. Disney would not let us see the inside of this ship. I know some cast members of Disney Cruise Line have been on board. Obviously, no photography or videography was allowed. I have my theories as to why they won't let us see the inside of the ship. I think it's still not done yet. Either way, we are going to see the inside of the ship because whether Disney has a media event or not, we have booked the maiden voyage. We are going. And so we're going to see this thing finish what will easily be the strangest Disney Cruise Line ship ever built. We're going to go check it out. So stay tuned for all that coverage coming up in March. Speaking of the adventure, Disney Cruise Line Singapore shared a sneak peek at their all-new musical stage show, Remember, which stars Wall-E and Eve. The show will debut on the ship when it starts voyaging in March. A previous behind-the-scenes video showed dancers rehearsing for the show, but the new video showcases Wall-E and Eve in puppet form on a set inspired by Wall-E's home, complete with Christmas lights. Remember marks the first time Wall-E and Eve have appeared on stage ever in a Disney theme park. The official synopsis is, celebrate love, hope, and the power of togetherness during this dazzling Broadway-style show. Join Wall-E on an inspiring journey as he orchestrates a special musical surprise for Eve, who has just returned from an extended mission. Unfortunately, an unexpected power outage interrupts their reunion, and with Eve's systems in the process of rebooting and their magical moment at risk, Wall-E finds inspiration in an ensemble of heroes and princesses from Coco, The Little Mermaid, Aladdin, and other Disney and Pixar stories to restore his companion. And this will make its world premiere aboard the Disney Adventure, a heartwarming stage performance using the power of song, dance, and Disney music to revitalize Eve. Remember, we'll perform alongside Disney Sees the Adventure, which is a show that does perform on the Wish-class ships. But again, those sailings begin March 10th, 2026. Shanghai Disney Resort is celebrating the Year of the Horse with decor, entertainment, food, and merchandise from January 28th until March 3rd. 2026 is the Year of the Horse, and Shanghai Disney Resort is celebrating by blending traditional Lunar New Year customs with Disney storytelling. As the official Zodiac character for the celebration, Bullseye will be appearing in a special welcome moment at the Pepsi E-Stage. Guests may also spot the character during the Spring Festival drum ceremony and around Disney Pixar Toy Story Land. Mickey, Minnie, and the rest of the gang will wear new outfits inspired by the event. Their colorful new outfits will honor the Year of the Horse with horse motifs, gold ingots, and embroidered patterns to represent prosperity in the new year. Duffy and all of his pals will join the 100-Acre Wood crew with new outfits as well. The pastel clothing features Year of the Horse detailing and embroidered floral designs. The first day of the celebration will be marked with an opening ceremony featuring Mickey and friends, followed by a lucky greeting from Goofy dressed as the God of Fortune. Each night of the festival will bring Spring Festival celebration, Our Families to the Skies, with displays including the Chinese character for horse. The nighttime spectacular features projections of Disney families. The Royal Banquet Hall, Barbossa's Bounty, and Pinocchio Village Kitchen will all have new menu items with dishes containing fish and other festive offerings to celebrate prosperity and unique flavor. Several new desserts will also pop up around the park. Treats like Mandarin sorbets, kumquat ice cream, and orange and hawthorn crepes will bring good fortune. Fans of the Zootopia franchise can pick up Wind Dancer-themed cotton candy and hot chocolate. I love that. Merchandise exclusive to the Year of the Horse celebration will showcase horse riding designs inspired by traditional folk art on apparel, home decor, and New Year accessories. The samples you're looking at now feature Duffy and Friends. Other collections featuring Zootopia, Bullseye, Goofy, Scrooge McDuck, and Winnie the Pooh and Friends will have horse-inspired theming. I am dying to see what the Scrooge McDuck horse merchandise looks like. If someone's out in Shanghai, please show me what the Scrooge McDuck horse merchandise is. I must know. Tokyo Disney Resort is opening single rider lines at Enchanted Tale of Beauty and the Beast, Anna and Elsa's Frozen Journey, and Peter Pan's Neverland Adventure. These three attractions joined the Indiana Jones Adventure Temple, the Crystal Skull, and Raging Spirits as the only Tokyo Disney Resort rides that offer single rider. Beauty and the Beast, the Enchanted Tale of Beauty and the Beast opened at Tokyo Disneyland in 2020. Anna and Elsa's Frozen Journey and Peter Pan's Neverland Adventure opened in 2024 as part of Fantasy Springs, but single rider lines now open on those, which is a welcome addition for sure. These get, especially those Fantasy Springs rides right now, multi-hour waits. Nightfall Glow, a rainy day nighttime parade at Tokyo Disneyland, will come to an end this year. The parade will be retired after Tuesday, March 31st, 2026. Nightfall Glow is a mini parade performed only at Tokyo Disneyland when the electrical parade Dreamlights is canceled due to weather. So although it will not perform after March 31st, it is impossible to know when the final performance will be. Maybe it's already happened. We don't know. Either way, Nightfall Glow debuted in 2011 as a temporary replacement for Dreamlights, which was going through refurb at the time. Dreamlights returned in July, and Nightfall Glow shifted to the rainy day schedule. It replaced Rainy Night Fun, another mini parade designed for bad weather. This makes me very sad because this has always been one of those, man, Tokyo thinks of everything. And if they have to cancel the giant spectacle that is Dreamlights due to rain, this thing would come out and it was, I forget my parents, we're in the park and it's raining and I'm like, I think they're going to run Nightfall Glow. And they have no idea what I'm talking about. And we run up to the route and my mother's like, why is this a big deal? I go, they have a nighttime parade that only runs when it rains. And they were flabbergasted. And it goes by, it's not long, but it's beautiful. The music's beautiful. The floats are beautiful. It's very cute. It goes by and my parents are just like, this place is ridiculous. And I go, yes, this place is ridiculous. We've lost a little bit of that ridiculousness. The OLC management's they've shown some Disney tendencies and it makes me very upset. I'm sad that there won't be a rainy, what are they going to do in rain now? What's the rain plan? There's got to be something. You guys can't just take this away. If you've never seen Nightfall Glow, you can watch right here on this channel. We do have multiple videos of it. It's a wonderful little parade. It's worth the watch. For the absolute latest on these stories and all that didn't make it into today's show, be sure to check WDWNT.com and follow us on all your favorite social media platforms. You could support the entire team behind this show and others by joining the WDWNT Interglobe Society at patreon.com/WDWNT. Get access to exclusive content, discounted show and event tickets, and more. Special shout out to our WIGS members watching who make this show happen every single week. For the worldwide leader in Disney Parks news, this is Tom Corliss saying enjoy the rest of your today and have a great, big, beautiful tomorrow.